Brawl news. Oh my god, I've been doing this for like 2 minutes, guys. It's been a while since we've done a Brawl News episode, and normally it's by design. Whenever an update is slowly approaching, I feel like Brawl News gets more and more frequent, so I don't want you guys to get too sick of the episodes. So I've been holding off on some of this juicy stuff here in this video today for quite some time, but I think now is about the time. So of course, if you guys enjoy these episodes of Brawl News or just any of my other content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I always do my best to scope out the Brawl Stars community with info that I think you guys should know about. So yeah, much love for the continued support. You guys are legends. Starting things off here in today's video with some very, very fun news. As you guys can see at the very top right hand corner of my screen, we have an exclamation mark wiggling at us. It's a good feeling. But of course, that means the Brawl Stars dev team has sent out those free Octo Fang skins to the giveaway winners. So if you got one a few days ago, congratulations on winning a giveaway. They are not easy to win, that's for dang sure. And if you didn't get one, unfortunately, you weren't lucky enough to win a giveaway or mine specifically. But of course, whenever it comes to giveaways, I always try to hammer home, never feel too disappointed for not winning because they are so hard to win. In the video that we made announcing the giveaway, we got just about 5,000 comments, which normally I get like 500 to 1,000 based on the video. So you can imagine just how difficult it is. It's another reason why I don't love doing giveaways that often here on the channel. I'm fine if the Brawl Stars dev team is sponsoring it with a cool event like this around the update, right? It's pretty hype. But I feel like things like this that are so dang hard to lose just kind of makes other people sad that they didn't win. More people sad than happy, right? Not too many people can win. So try not to feel bad, please. It's literally just like a lottery. The chances to win are so dang slim. But you know, it's pretty cool to know that the dev team, seeing that they've done this a few times now, that we can assume that this will be an ongoing trend with updates to come. But you can tell your boy is a YouTuber because I literally saved this skin for 2 days and 3 hours here in my inbox for this video. We do it for the content, baby. I wanted to open it with all of you guys with the announcement that the giveaway winners were sent out, but here we are. We have the Octo Fang skin looking really cool. But with that out of the way, we are now setting our sights on something really interesting that I've been saving honestly for a video in regards to maybe some lore here in season 13. Make sure to be on the lookout for that. That is still on the way, but I wanted to pick this piece out of here because I felt like it was a little bit more urgent. Where we're about to venture into is the Brawlies that aired 6 months ago on the Brawl Stars YouTube channel that honestly had quite a bit of interesting details, which we broke down in length in terms of lore. It felt just a little bit more significant than just an award show, to the point where your boy Ray did a dedicated video on all the significant things that might be more lore based, related to Star Park, or giving us Easter eggs for future updates. If you want to check that out, be sure to do so because we don't have enough time to go over everything in this video about the Brawlies. But what we're about to hone in on that I think is very significant, maybe giving us info about a new brawler around the corner or update theme, is a few different skits that were present in the Brawlies that people in the community noticed after the Deep Sea Splash update season that we're currently in came out. A few very strange connections with the skits. Just about around the 5-minute and 30-second mark of the Brawlies, right after the scene where we had discussed in length that the Brawl Stars dev team was turned into playable characters, i.e. Paula and Danny as Piper, Paula as Jessie, that being somewhat significant in and of itself. But right after that, we got hit with a skit, and that skit is very eerily similar to an update that we just received. This video coming out 6 months ago. We have Danny and Paula under the ocean in a suit that heavily resembles the newest brawler that came to the game, Otis. Now, of course, no real crazy connections 6 months ago were made to any of these skits, seeing that there was no like connections that could be made at the time, you know what I mean? But several people in the community did point out 6 months ago that these skits were kind of strange, right? They were just kind of all over the place. They really didn't have any reasoning behind them. I mean, why in the heck would they just randomly cut to a skit where Paula and Danny are under the water with very old scuba suits on? It just was kind of bizarre at the point. Now, in hindsight, where we're at currently, it makes a ton of sense. A lot of people theorizing that this was a little bit of an Easter egg, giving us info for the update that just came out now. Being under the water, we have the theme as well as the Brawler, scuba suits, we have Otis. So of course, once people made this connection that the dev dev team very well could have given us a huge Easter egg or a sneak peek to a future update 6 months later. A ton of people reanalyzed the Brawlies skit by skit, trying to uncover maybe another future update around the corner, and one in particular got a lot of people talking. The skit that stood out to people that was kind of along the same line of strangeness or randomness that the scuba suit scene underwater was, is around the 12-minute and 48-second mark, where we're met in a skit with Danny as well as a game tester for Brawl Stars. But the scene is the game tester, the other person in this scene, is playing hockey with a basketball here in a very like sports theme or environment, and he shoots the basketball into a hockey goal, and then they celebrate. Now, the reason this one stood out quite a lot, much like we said before, is that it's just a little bit random, right? Compared to all the other skits here, it's kind of similar to just, you know, Paula and Danny being underwater, so people kind of ran with this. So the theories running right now because of this skit is we very well could have a theme in the future that has a lot of things to do with sports. For the longest time, some of the most popular game modes here in this game have been sport related, like Brawl Ball, Basketball, and it might make a ton of sense to develop an update surrounding that theme. Maybe a new game mode coming out that might be sports related, a ton of skins of different brawlers in different sports. I think it makes a ton of sense, and I'm feeling very, very good about this theory. So we'll just have to wait and see if that eventually does come out, and if it does, we might have to look to the Brawlies once again. But the fun does not stop there. If we break down the scene even further, much like the skit earlier on in the video with Paula and Danny underwater, it one gave the theme for this season 13 update, as well as two kind of gave sneak peeks of what the new brawler would be like, right? A scuba suit brawler. Of course, not the specifics of like being an octopus or anything, but we have key character designs here. So because of that, they also analyzed the scene with the hockey player as well in that same degree. So we have one, the theme being presented, maybe a sports related update, as well as one of the key characters that I guess isn't Danny is a hockey player. So if this sports related update would come out sometime in the future, I think it would make a ton of sense to have a new brawler that would be a hockey brawler. Maybe somewhat of like a shorter range to mid-range attacker, something like that. And again, I don't think we can really argue with like different or out there characters in Brawl Stars at this point, seeing that some of the most recent characters being added to this game are just so out there, right? And to take this whole new hockey brawler even further, some interesting things were discovered from past theories from an individual in the community. We have DD Pardell here coming up with somewhat of an interesting theory in 2020. DD Pardell is a very noteworthy person here in the theory crafting or lore related community. I've talked with him several times in a group chat with other people also doing the same stuff that we do a lot with lore. But he discovered that in the game files of the 8-bit mini game in Brawl Stars some time ago had some really interesting code for some of the characters on the final stage of that game. Now, I do want to point out here before we get into the specifics that DD Pardell himself, after making this fun little connection, thought that this is pretty dang far-fetched, that it's more than likely just a fun little strange occurrence, but I thought it was so interesting that I just had to share with you guys. So we're taking a look here. This has a very low chance of happening, but it's possible that a hockey-related brawler may be coming. So he's saying this in 2020. In the code for the third 8-bit minigame, the one that's more of a platformer where you're running around with 8-bit and shooting all the different characters in Brawl Stars, there was a placeholder for a hockey player, and all the other enemies in the third minigame were brawlers. However, it was a placeholder inside what looks like a test quotations movie. A movie is an animated collection of textures. So the discovery that he made was enemy hockey player placeholder here. So in the code for the third minigame inside of the 8-bit minigame, we have everything coded in with specific names. So we have things such as a tree being coded in there, but this, a name of a character, enemy hockey player placeholder. So you could come to expect when coding in the other brawlers in that third minigame, like the Leon or the Surge or the Brock, it would be enemy Brock with the quotations, or enemy Leon. But in this situation, it was enemy, so something was coded in, but it was hockey player. So it's just a really, really strange occurrence now that we're talking about this maybe potential hockey player coming around the corner, and then all the enemies in this third stage being coded in as enemy, and then the brawler name. This one specifically is enemy hockey player placeholder. So this is around the time when Snowtell was being theorized, and it made a ton of sense at the time that maybe a hockey player would come to the game. So it was a fun theory then, and now a fun theory today. Make sure to let me know what you guys are thinking about this. I thought this was so freaking cool. But that is just about it from the Brawlies that I wanted to dig into here in this video today. Super interesting. I'm very keen on hearing what you guys have to say about this. Again, this is just a theory and kind of a long stretch, so we just kind of have to wait and see if this theory holds. But with that out of the way, next moving along to another really interesting connection that people have made recently, and that is a certain rarity of Brawler has been continuously coming out in a month that is just around the corner. I'm sure a lot of you guys were unaware about this because I was unaware of this until just recently, but there has been an ongoing trend where around the month of September every single year, with a little bit of give and take, we've had a new legendary Brawler being released, which if you guys didn't know, we're in the month of July, so only around 2-ish months away. September last year, we had Meg introduced to the game. A year before that, we had Amber introduced to being released in the game in the month of October, so a little bit outside of September, but around the same ballpark. Another year before that, in the month of September, we had Sandy introduced. So of course, when it comes to reoccurring things like this, it's always safe to assume that it's probably going to keep going. So we very well could be getting a brand new legendary Brawler here within the next couple months. And I think the reasoning behind this legendary Brawler coming out around the month of September every single year is because the Brawl Stars dev team goes away on vacation for some time. It's mandatory in Finland by law to take a month break. So I think when they return, they want this like relatively hype update with a new crazy high rarity Brawler. Normally generates a little bit more eyeballs to the game and kind of sparks back that interest into Brawl Stars after a little bit of a hiatus from updates and things like that. So yeah, make sure to keep that in the back of your mind. A legendary Brawler right around the corner, I would assume. But yeah, everyone, that's just about all I got for you here in this video today. I wanted to share all the interesting stuff people have been discussing recently here in the Brawl Stars community. We just came off of an update, but there's still interesting, juicy stuff to be explored in the Brawl Stars community that might be related to Easter eggs, and your boy Ray loves finding them. But of course, if you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to slap a like on it. I'd really appreciate that. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you all in the next one. Adios, and take care.